Meditation, good. Make brain good. I'm not going to explain meditation to you. You've watched the videos. You've read the stuff. You know what meditation is. We've all seen the Avatar: The Last Airbender season 3. We don't need an explainer. I want to meditate because I'm hoping it will help me improve my focus, which is really bad, and reduce my anxiety, which is fairly bad. I'm thinking that meditation can help with that. I know that I need to do it for a long time consistently. And so I'm going to meditate 30 minutes a day for 100 days straight every day. Actually, I already did it. I already succeeded. I didn't film an intro before I started. I'm sorry about that. Let's take a look at how I was doing 2 weeks into the process. I'm like 2 weeks in to meditating. I just finished like my 14th or 15th meditation, and it's fine. It doesn't feel like I'm very good at. I'm struggling to actually just keep focus, but it's fine. That's what I was kind of expecting. That's why I'm doing it for 100 days and not for 2 weeks, because I just feel like it's going to take a little bit more to get into it. Okay, so fairly standard. This is how most of these videos start out. It's not simple to meditate. Going from 0 minutes to 30 minutes a day of just sitting on its own is kind of hard, just to find the time. And meditating itself is like a practice. You have to work at it. My mind at this point, it's bouncing around. I'm struggling to actually do the meditating, but I'm okay with that because I'm at this point reasoning it's a skill, and that's part of why I committed to doing it for 100 days, so that when it didn't work in 2 weeks, I'm giving myself that chance to get something out of it. So surely by day 40, things are looking a lot better. This is like my 40th. This is around my 40th. I think it's like a little before, a little after. Day of meditating straight. It's not going well. It is not working. To be transparent, 40 days in, I was doing badly for external reasons. External to meditation, I was having a bad time in my personal life. Now, part of the dream for meditating for me is that it would help me deal with the emotions when things are going poorly in my life. But I found myself really struggling. Couldn't get back to focusing on breathing, and every negative thought in my life was just spinning around in my mind, which, you know, I know that they say it's a bad thing to like distract yourself. You need to like process these things. And maybe it would have been worse if I wasn't doing the meditation, but it just sort of felt like I was just going in circles, and then I'd try to bring myself back to breathing, and then I'd immediately be back in the whirlpool, which might be leading you to ask, how did I keep doing this? Sticking into a habit is hard, one that is deeply unpleasant and not doing anything for you, even more so. But unfortunately, there is no trick. Every morning I come downstairs, I pee, and then first thing, before coffee, before anything else, I sit on the kitchen floor and I set a 30-minute timer and I do the meditation. So it's day 60 or so, meditating every day. And it's better than before. I was like miserable before trying to do it, and now I'm like back to, I sort of feel like I'm back at the beginning a little bit, where I think I'm getting something out of it, but I feel like it's like not meditation. I feel like I'm just sitting, oh, there goes my cat. I'm just sitting alone and being quiet for a bit, and as a result, I'm like thinking through a lot of things. But I feel like the thing of like, oh, focusing on the breath or like focusing on doing a body scan or any of that stuff, it's just like such a small part of the 30 minutes. And so much more of the 30 minutes is me just like
working through like, oh well, here's this thing I want to make. Oh, here's this thing I got to do. Maybe I should do this today. And like, my brain does not feel quieter, but it does. I think there's something to just sitting and just thinking, but also I don't know if it's what I was aiming for at the start of this.
Perhaps if you are a meditation devotee, a regular practitioner, someone who's been at it for years, you're thinking this guy's just bad at meditating. He's meditating wrong. If he was meditating right, he'd be getting more out of it. And I'm totally open to that. Allow me to explain sort of what is going through my head in meditation. I got this from a guided meditation by that's voiced by a guy who sounds sort of like Ray Romano. I sit down, cross-legged on the floor, focusing on the breathing, focusing on breathing in, breathing out. And when I hear a sound or a thought comes to mind, I just sort of, I'm fine. I note it. I don't, and then I try and just let it go. And then return to the breathing, sort of focusing on, is the breath long? Is it short? I try to kind of feel the breath throughout my whole body, which is a weird thing, but you can that does sort of work for me. I sort of feel up and down, out, in and out, like in my arms and legs, which is interesting. The part I'm struggling with is bringing my mind back to the breathing and I know that this is a part of the process, is you get distracted, and then noticing that you're distracted and pulling back trains your mind to be able to, allows you to sort of like focus your thoughts and corral and control what your brain does. It sort of is allowing your consciousness to direct your brain, and I don't necessarily know that I think that your brain and your consciousness are separate things, but it feels like they are, like, interpretively. When like my actual way of interacting in the world, it feels like my consciousness and my brain are different things. I don't think they are, but I think that in practice, I can act as though they are. But I've found that as I get distracted, I'm just following the rabbit down the hole. I'm playing out whole scenes in my head. I'm making to-do lists. I'm thinking about things I need to do later in the day, about what I want to eat after this, about, oh, my head hurts, my nose is stuffy. And it's not that I'm like, maybe it is it doesn't feel like a lack of discipline in bringing myself back to the breath. It's that I don't notice when I'm not meditating anymore. I'm focusing on the breathing, and then it's like suddenly 5-10 minutes have passed, and I was just sitting there ruminating, and I didn't realize it. Does that make sense? I'm forgetting. I'm not noticing that I'm not meditating.
It's day 80. I actually think it's like day 82 or 3 or something. Just finished meditating. I don't know if I'm getting enough out of this.
Oh, did something change in the last 20 days of the challenge? I would love to tell you that I reached some new understanding, that it just clicked for me, and that I was Bradley Cooper. I was limitlessing. But it was the same. It was mostly the same. The only thing that I feel like I have gotten out of this is, one, I've proven that I'm pretty disciplined about a habit. I said that I do it for 100 days straight. I missed like 5 days, a couple because I was sick, one because I just forgot. And then there were a couple days where I genuinely was just like so freaked out and stressed that when I sat down to do it, I was just like, I just can't do it today. So I did miss like 5 days. I don't know what to tell you. Perfection is the enemy of good. So I got, I can be fairly disciplined about being at a place. I've always been okay at that. But what I've discovered is that my ability to focus, it's like noticeably worse than previous times when I've done meditation, which I've never done a stretch for this long and for as long of a time in the day. But previously I was better at pulling myself back, at not letting my brain go off. And I feel like I've worsened in that drastically. It doesn't feel like determination. It just feels like capability. It just feels like I'm unable to focus. I'm just more scattered even than I thought. And I thought I was pretty scattered. So I'm going to keep meditating. I'm going to continue that. I'm going to do in 200 days. And then maybe I'll make another video and tell you that actually it fixes your brain after 200 days. Because I have to do something. I would love to come out here and tell you that it fixed me. It made me less anxious. It made me more focused. I'm not currently feeling that. And if you have any advice about how to meditate better, about what has worked for you, feel free to comment. If you want to be mean to me, shut the fuck up.